time is we're gonna get.
Oh, what's up?
Welcome to nap time.
Yeah. Oh wait, can we have guys games for nap time? Look, but I want graham crackers and milk if we're doing it, okay? Just say it right now.
Which corner of the room is mine?
That's right. Thank you.
Warm milk.
I forgot my sleep.
There was so that saw that thing. There's an event, overnight sleepover in the public museum, and it's just women dressed in plushies. As the advertiser.
Oh shit! I should
And there won't be any of them.
I know. I said not even.
Oh god, what do you call it?
I mean, they were called PJs, but they were clearly just plushies.
Oh, they could have been right here.
It's a hot mess, yeah.
Wait, that's the only one I own. I can say that's my favorite.
I could say that, yeah. See, you do have one you can talk about. You can talk about that one.
That's running around, you know. And they had them in the coin-operated backtracks. So they would put them in bars as a tabletop, and they were actually coin-operated.
There we go. Oh, one other thing. When we were at, there's another place in Denver we went to. One out that was right up next to stadium, which was packed and 9,000 degrees. Reminded me of old arcade days.
Oh,
And their bar, like the Tappers,
yeah.
was an old arcade machine, like the monitor taken out. At the top said Tapper. And the Tapper marquee.
Nice. They were tapping on it.
They were tapping.
That's nice.
Built the Tappers into the.
But
May not have been a Tapper.
Oh shit, are we ready for a beer cart?
they should have.
We have the beer.
They should have required the bartenders to like wear the old striped shirts with the what do you call it? I know it's a garter on your leg, but is it a garter on your arms too when you like wear them on your arms?
I'm pretty sure.
And it's still a garter.
Are you still a slut then?
Oh hell yeah.
We went to a
That's
bar
not
that
it.
was called Miners Cafe or something.
Whoa.
Kelly got
That's exactly
busted.
where we went first, and they're like, yes, no, not everyone serves you that's under 18. It's like it's supposed to be like a mine shaft,
Oh, okay. All right.
and like the guy still wears like
the miners, not the miner. Not their
miner with the
Do they get a lot of like NAMBLA members who like show up accidentally?
We're like on a miners bar.
It's like the guy behind the bar. You know, he's still wearing the bow tie. And,
Live from the sixth subfloor of the Guys, Games, and Beer Towers. It's the Guys, Games, and Beer podcast with Nambla.
Hey, well, you know, I always told you should just start the show and not tell us.
The conversations do get a little more interesting.
What do you do?
Wow, look at this. It's got a fancy black pull top on it. I did say pull top, by the way.
So what are we doing?
What's that? Beer cart, of course.
Oh.
We always do beer cart.
Somebody say
Is
beer
it
cart.
loaded?
We say beer cart. What do we
Have we-
always
have
do
we sung
first?
yet?
No, we haven't sung yet, though. Ready?
Da da
Da da da da. Da 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 da.
beer cart.
All right, so
Well, Ryan had a couple already.
what are we doing for beer court tonight?
Well, I was just in Colorado, and I did not go anywhere near this brewery, but apparently it is from Colorado. Left Hand Brewing Company. They have their Belgian style single ale seasonal study abroad.
We
Study
all
abroad.
like to study abroad.
Belgian yeast gives this light body ale distinct spiciness with mild fruit esters.
Ooh, it is a fruity smelling beer, dude.
Oh,
Holy shit, it's a fruity smelling beer.
All right, now I've had their stout. And
Yeah.
it's really quite good.
This has got some.
Well, I don't know
I
about
do like
this one.
This
You
has
know,
got
I
some-
gotta say, it gets a +1 for class.
Yeah, that black pull top does kind of class it up a little bit, but it smells fruity as
And a little
fuck.
hand on it.
Wait, pinkies up.
Pinkies up. Does not taste as fruity as it smells.
No, not at all.
I don't know about it.
It's got the faint taste of cat urine in it, yes, but
Yeah, I don't know about this one.
You know, for a Belgian, I'm okay with this one.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards emergency beer. Here.
Drink some more. Drink some more.
It's nowhere near an emergency beer. I got one sitting in the fridge.
Yeah,
still, just in case.
it's the smell that's killing you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, think how bad.
Terrible.
Now,
Yeah,
that
don't
being
sniff
said, if this was in a glass, it might be a little.
Right.
That smell might be a little overpowering.
It's a skunky bitch.
Oh, that helps.
You close your nose.
This.
No,
It's
you know,
like
I,
nose,
no,
man,
because
it's
I think
not.
if you were drinking this out of a glass, I think that fruity smell.
You
would,
get it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might be a little much on the taste.
Yeah, it's well, maybe that's it. Does it say? Are there instructions? Beer don't give enough instructions sometimes.
Sometimes they put the.
Must be in a glass to enjoy or something like that. No, doesn't say.
So it must be in the can to enjoy.
Yeah,
Uh,
must hold your nose to enjoy.
Well, there's
Yeah,
a QR code
that's-
for
It's
food
got-
pairings.
Alright.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not bitching.
Really?
No.
Holy shit!
God
I
damn.
think we're moving towards where I voted.
Wow, I'm a bit surprised actually.
I am getting. Well, I think you nailed it with cat ear now. Yeah.
It is cat urine. Yeah. Not a bad cat urine.
Well, I don't think
Wow. That's a first.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm a bit shocked on that one.
We've had a lot of firsts this year with Larry.
I thought it was too early to grab the Oktoberfest beers.
I'm gonna agree
They're
with you
out
on
there.
that. I think it is too early
And
for
the-
October.
And the other ones that.
They're
come
switching
around
out
this
the
time of
bars
year.
though.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah,
out
you
last
are-
week and they didn't.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
favorite.
September's like just around the corner. It's next week, so yeah. I mean, you could
The
start
whole
thinking
cool.
October.
They had a whole cooler dedicated to
Oktoberfest already, yeah.
and a little section of some other kind of spicy beer.
Go back
Yeah,
to
I
that,
want
trust
pumpkin spice shit.
me. Mm.
You know how much I love that crap.
Some sweet allspice in your beer.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
Really.
All right, so well, let's go ahead and pass judgment on this, guys. You know, I'm not gonna give it a thumbs up. I think it smells a little too fruity, but
I'm fine.
it's okay.
I mean,
I'm fine with it. It's
I'm not.
nothing I would
run out
seek
and buy
out.
more of them.
Yeah,
But
nothing I would seek out. Oh, you do not get to do double thumbs down.
I feel
on
like
it.
3 ounces.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know, if I was sitting in the garage with you guys and we're like, you know, sitting back playing some games, I could bust this out. I'd be okay with it.
All right.
I mean, I'm gonna give it a reluctant thumbs up. I'm gonna say it's not a beer for every situation for sure. This is not like something for every situation, but yeah,
All right.
I'm okay with it.
All right. Again, it is a Belgian ale, guys. So.
I get it. It's Belgian ales.
All right. All right.
I get Belgian ale.
Yeah, and
damn
so
it, I
I
drunk
mean,
Larry.
you know me, I drink a lot of Stella and stuff, so you know, and that's a much cleaner. This is a little on the fruity side for me, so, but it's all right. It's all right. Okay, so
It's
Rob,
the
what is
smell,
the
it
real
smells
topic
bad.
tonight? Oh wait, Judge Rob, pass verdict on this.
Oh yeah.
It's a beer.
On count 1 of being a dirty skank, guilty.
Yeah.
On count 2 of of possibly being cat urine, I also find you guilty. Sentence you to light sipping with a decision on how drunk I get, whether I drink the rest of you or not.
Point well taken. All right, so Rob, what are we really talking about tonight?
Tonight we're going to be talking about VR. We actually go, I mean, we go to the beginning of the modern era of VR, and obviously we've had interest in VR. I mean, we got a picture around here somewhere of good old Duffy. Do we call him Eric? Do we call him Duffy when it's in the past?
Yeah, let's stick with Duffy in the
This
past.
is interesting because if somebody changes their sex, do you call them what their old sex was when they were the
When you
old
talking
sex?
about that? That is interesting. But yeah, so we'll call him
We
Duffy.
got friends we can ask.
Yeah, we'll
about
call him
this.
Duffy.
This is good. Okay, so we can ask whether that's, but we'll call him Duffy right now, and pending decision from better educated people on the subject than us. So yeah, we got pictures of him with VR gear back in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah.
On some VR gear that he made. Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Well, and we will talk about that. So yeah, we've been involved in virtual reality since the early consumer days of it. I mean, and in the early consumer, well, we'll get into that when we actually start talking about it.
Conceptually, it's been around a while.
Oh yeah, VR. The dream of VR goes back,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to the Gibson books and beyond. I mean, you know, we've always had this, you know, alternate reality. You know, can we immerse ourselves so fully in something we're doing that it's, you know, whether it's directly implanted into your brain, you know, or whether it's something that you, you know, feed through.
Total Recall.
Exactly it.
Take a vacation.
Which is virtual reality.
I guess it is technically virtual reality. Yes, you kind of. Well, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
It's
virtual
virtual
reality.
He takes it
Straight
and
up.
he thinks he broke away and he saved Mars and all that. That's the whole idea. But the one guy goes, no, your VR just went really, really bad and you're going insane.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna pull you out now.
But
But he rejected it.
but that kind of an implant would be virtual reality.
Mhm.
It's not real, but your mind still thinks it's very real. So it's a virtual reality. That's a different.
Strange Days had it in there as a major
Correct.
technology too.
Oh, and before.
But they wouldn't deal in death porn. Though.
Right.
So that was the line.
But before the latest generation
Strange Brew also
of,
had VR in it. No, wait.
of VR, before the Oculus and a few other things we're going to talk about tonight, before that VR, most of the VR was imagined as some kind of thing you'd hook up to your brain and implant the memories that way, control your mind and trick it into thinking you are in some kind of a reality. Hell, The Matrix.
Well,
The Matrix is virtual reality.
And I know it wasn't everyone's favorite Batman, but you remember the Riddler had the TV box.
Right,
And
exactly.
he would shit right into your head.
Exactly. All that's examples of a different type of VR. Now, that's not the kind of VR we're going to talk about tonight because that VR is. I won't rule that VR out. That would be the kind of VR that would be the most realistic VR, and will be the VR that we eventually get to.
Yeah, and you were going to say the Matrix, huh?
No, the Matrix,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I didn't say the Matrix.
What about Star Trek holodeck? Is that kind of a
I would have to say.
I think that's more what this is. You're starting to move, the holodeck is starting to move where this is. Where they're not in their head.
Right.
They're just
In an environment.
They're putting an environment around them and they're seeing it and they're
But it is
moving
virtual
around it.
reality at that point.
It is definitely virtual reality, but it's of the style that this gear is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You were trying to do the difference
Yeah,
between.
well, yeah,
the
and again, I think those are the two paths that you're going to see happen.
Yeah.
Something closer to a holodeck, where the virtual reality is projected all around you, versus something that's implanted into you, Total Recall.
Yeah.
So I think that's the kind of difference. Now, tonight we're going to be talking about good old straight consumer VR. You know, where did it start? Where's it going? Is it something that's going to catch on still?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Do you want to? Let's do that at the end. We'll talk a little bit about
What's coming and what was he?
well where we're at. You know where we're at, how we got there. I mean, Oculus is a good example of because it's really our first example of something really going through its phases in a very public manner. I mean, it lit VR's fire back up. I mean, before Oculus, there was VR,
Right.
but nobody was taking it very seriously.
Well,
now,
because
it's serious
in
business.
the end, it didn't deliver.
No,
It had elements, but it didn't deliver.
right. Oculus actually managed to deliver
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, up until then it was just basically really decent, halfway decent 3D.
Yeah.
Up until then.
Yeah.
Maybe, or just like a screen that's really close to your face.
Which is also
You know?
yeah. Right, but no, before Oculus actually hit the right formula of optics and tracking.
Well, and supporting software. So I mean, there's a lot to be said for, you know, when I first experienced the Oculus and the whole thing, it made a gigantic difference that, okay, I did the roller coaster, right? So yeah, I could see it and stuff like that. It was 3D. But I could move my head around in every location and I could look down and I could see the rails. I could look over here and see the sky and I could look, you know, and it was all just this complete world that was around me like my normal world is.
Right.
And you need a good graphical program that can drive that.
3D
you know?
modeling is very important.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, but going back on that, I'm gonna jump back. Do you guys remember the Pterodactyl games? I forget the name of the platform. So back, probably some of the very first VR that people might have experienced would have been at like either an arcade or a fair or something like that. There were these rigs you could stand in. They had a full headset, and the headset was like about this long, stuck off your face.
Well, we
Aladdin
experienced those. The Aladdin ride at Disney Quest.
Correct.
And the
Very-
ride that was gone, that's
Very
supposed to be
similar,
a
but
sword
these were actually standalone platforms, and you'd walk up into them, and they had games like Pterodactyl Drop and stuff like that, where you were shooting against each other and the birds. They had that full 360. Fun fact: they were run on Amigas, and
Of course they were.
of course, no, honestly, of course they were. Back then, when it came to doing 3D modeling, the Amiga was that far ahead.
But
of
it's
everybody
still,
else.
it still had limits as far as it's like what you were looking at. Still had blocking.
Oh no, it was. Oh
I mean,
yeah,
no,
most
it-
definitely. But you could
no,
look
no.
all the way around.
Right now, you got this convergence of the ability to basically do a reality world that looks like our world, and now step into it with 3D glasses and have motion to support that. I mean, it's kind of like there's been a lot of technology that's moving parallel, and now they're meeting.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, I think again, it's a lot of it was technology. Now the other part of the problem that came into play with that was the optics thing. Again, the optics have changed. More computer power means you can do better optics setup. Before it was, they didn't do enough to get that wraparound feel. Yes, you could turn your head, but you still looked like you were, even if in 3 dimensions, it still kind of looked flat in front of you. Whereas part of what Oculus has done right is the screen distortion that they do on the images. They distort the images so that when they come back through the lens, it gives you a much more realistic feel and a much more better wrap. What was the name of the company again? I'm trying to remember the name of the company. Out of Manchester, England. They only made like 3,000 units. Oh, Christ, what was the name of the company? I cannot find the name of the company right now. But it was truly an amazing piece of kit. I had seen these at like a state fair or something. It was the first time I think I played them. And they were just unbelievably well done. You had like a controller you held, and it tracked the controller. Again, it had like a rig that you had to pull the cable on. The rig weighed too much to wear on your head, so you actually had.
Yeah, we were playing those at Disney.
Yeah, they were pods.
Oh yeah, the ones at Disney, they had to hang from the ceiling.
Yes.
On like 4-inch chains because
Why
they
that
were so
failed.
heavy. It didn't fail. It was there like 20 years.
That's a failure.
The name of the company was Virtuality, and they used Amiga 3000s, and they made these pods, and these pods had several games. Pterodactyl Drop being one of them, but it was again, it was really, they were out of England. They really did an amazing job. I mean, that I think was the first, I would say, really good consumer. When I say consumer, I mean something you could buy as far as like if you were a big company, like Arcade.
Well,
or
or a consumer, you could show up, an average public person could show up, find one of these, play it.
Exactly. I would say that was the first one. Now again, they only made like 3,000 of these. They were terribly expensive, but it was stereoscopic. Again, it had tracking. You could look all the way around. You were immersed in that world, even though the world was, like you said, fairly blocky. That was a virtual reality creator set or whatever. If you remember from on the Amiga, they had this one virtual world creator where you could do 3D modeling, and it would just 2D.
That was, yeah, we now just call it gaming.
But the graphics were no better than that. But again, what they did though, was as far as the hardware goes, they got the optics right on that, where it was fairly, again, it was a little flat, but it wasn't too bad. The tracking, it's all about head tracking. VR is about tracking, knowing where you're at in a particular world, and that it did very well. The pods did not monitor your feet movement. You basically stood stationary and spun in the pod, and it would track you as far as spinning in the pod goes. It also, again, you had a weapon, in the case of like most of the games, a gun, and it would track your gun, and you could shoot the pterodactyl, or shoot if you played against somebody else. Besides fighting the pterodactyls, you're trying to
We
kill
played
each
something
other.
like that too.
So
We were in that one pod. What the heck was the name of it? It was we were supposed to rescue some people off a planet that was blowing up. If you recall, that was being attacked.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
Alien Invasion.
Yeah. Alien Invasion. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but again, but that was a
But
that came out.
was-
This
that
came out in
was a little
'92.
different because I mean, well, I mean, you know, it's hard to say. How do you defining it? Like, I mean, there was no headgear on us, so it was
Yeah.
you know through the windows.
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know.
but again, it still was a virtual reality kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose the windows
Right,
on the other side of the windows wasn't actually an alien world.
right.
No. I mean, the Mech Games in Chicago, that would be another example of that kind of virtual reality where you go into the cockpit and you're in a mech, and the whole world outside is not really there.
Right,
Yeah.
the battle
You're
mech simulators in Chicago,
Yeah.
the pods,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was another. Again, these are all examples of early virtual reality attempts.
Well, and now I don't think the Mech Games had this, but the for sure the Disney one did have a 3D effect to it. I mean, it was he didn't. Yeah, do we have to put glasses on? I forget.
Yeah, the Disney one had the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that was the one.
No, the glasses in the pod. I think.
Oh,
you're
you're talking about the
I
pirate
think so.
ship.
No, not
The spaceship,
The pirate
right?
ship we did have to put glasses.
Yeah, that
on.
was the
The spaceship we did not. I don't
correct.
think.
No, you didn't.
But I think they were using like some kind of weird double glass or something that gave it.
It gave
kinda-
it depth, yeah,
yeah.
and also just doing the bend screens and things
Yeah.
like that gives you that kind of effect. So again, all of this is nothing new. This goes back further,
Well,
even
yeah.
further than the '90s. But I would say the modern what we're seeing as far as modern headsets really started in the '90s.
I just want to put a little bit of prop out there. You talk about stereoscopes and stuff, and that's been from 1890.
Well, and that's
And then where you had 3D, things that you would put on, and you'd put a different
Right.
lens on it, or a different
Right.
picture, and then
each eye seeing a
Yeah,
slightly
and then you start
different
moving.
angle.
moving on and into the ViewMaster,
But-
which
But that's where all of these
Viewmaster.
but
Yeah,
that's where
that's true,
all of
though.
these got their idea from.
right. So then you start building into this. And
Right.
It's like, oh, okay.
Exactly. They all come from that. I mean, that's really the earliest example of virtual reality is the old stereoscope that you
Yeah.
can stick on your face, or as a kid, a ViewMaster. The thing being is again not the immersion, not the.
But
look
yeah,
around.
but it wasn't the immersion.
Right.
It just because then you started then after you got done with that, by putting this on your head and also putting like headphones that basically like separate the old kind of sensory deprivation idea. That you're blocking out all the ambient sounds out here, and
Right.
you're just
Right.
getting just the sound of the game that you're in or whatever. And that adds a lot to it too, which.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Okay, so
All right, so let's fast forward here. We're getting.
let's not fast forward too much. Let me show
wanna
you.
go to-
Hey.
Let's go back. So as
The weeds are fine. They're
Yeah.
enjoyable.
So
as
let's
Rob
stay
was talking
weeds,
about,
yes.
we actually have pictures of one of our old friends back in the '80s.
Yeah.
Playing
one of these
virtual
guys,
reality.
yeah.
So what happened was there was a company called Victor Max.
I remember these.
This was probably the first commercial headset you could get. It cost about $250 new. So back in the '80s, think about a $250
That was
headset.
half
Yeah.
of a house.
That's basically like $1,000 headset nowadays. So this was a fairly specialty item. So whether they said virtual reality, stunning 3D, blah blah blah. They used all these things. It really was not. It's not 3D at all. It has a single screen, a fairly low resolution single screen. Basically, it's like the best thing I think a Game Gear screen would be your best comparable of the time. It's got about the same resolution as a Game Gear.
It's
For
Wow.
lenses in this.
The upside is the games weren't going to
Now
get
this,
any better anyway.
you can see it's got this really cool '80s color scheme going on.
Yeah.
little purple.
Yeah, you love that purple on that thing. So it's but like Larry said, one of the
Wait a
first
minute.
things.
Hey, didn't all the robots in the black hole have those?
Yeah,
on?
actually. No. So as Larry said, one of the first things you have to do to
They're playing
kind of
Road
get that
Rash.
virtual reality feel is you have to have sound. So
Yeah.
the one thing that Victor Max did right was they actually built a headset right into their gear, which was a nice touch right off
Yeah.
the bat. One of the things about the Victor Maxes, and I've got two of them, is the plastic dries out and cracks.
Yeah.
On the other one, I've rebuilt it with a whole new headpiece on it, but this one I have not rebuilt yet. But talking about the display, literally it's got just a Fresnel magnifying glass in here to make the screen look bigger in your eyes. The screen's tiny in this thing. I mean, it's tiny. The screen's literally a single screen right about there. But that being said, for
And
the
a-
time,
And a single screen too, so you don't have the.
no, it did not flip up. No, it's a single screen, right? So there's
So-
no 3D depth. Even though they said, oh, 3-dimensional, blah blah blah. No, you had no 3-dimensional in this. It's a flat screen. It was like looking at a TV set basically playing with crappy graphics. 'Cause
Wait, no, it was. No, you say it's not 3D, but
no,
it plays with the Genesis.
correct.
Which actually had one 3D game.
Right, but the Genesis had to have shutter glasses to do that,
Yeah.
and this does not support that.
Oh.
Now that would have been cool if they had done that.
Yeah.
And that's something they could have done. They could have put an LCD shutter in front of here and just had it shutter your eyes.
Yeah,
and
that'd
you
have
would
been
have
300.
Right. Yeah,
And you'd have
probably
big
more,
cross-eyed
probably
man.
more than that. But the game would have, at that point, you could have done that. You could have had flipped frames and actually
Yeah.
done 3D. They did not do it on this.
Uh,
But from a commercial standpoint, they did a fairly good job considering the technology of the time. So when we originally purchased this, we'll say we didn't pay the $250 for it because I was a poor kid and I did not buy $350 headsets. But we did some of the early games we played on it. It's basically just a composite in on here. You had it comes with a shitload of cables to adapt it over to all sorts of different gaming systems. The Genesis, the what are the ones?
compatible with everything.
Yeah, the PlayStation. It's
Oh, so they gave you all the cables.
yeah, they gave you all
So
the
a
cables.
single like standard pen connector
Right. So it has a
to
like,
its own to itself.
right to
Yeah.
itself. So they gave you all the different cables.
Supporting CGA graphics.
And again, so that was all kind of good. They did a great job on that. I mean, commercially, it was a well-made piece of kit. It wasn't cheap. That's why it was a well-made piece of kit. But I need to say, it was a commercial failure. People put it on, and it just was
I like the
horrible.
little heartbeat thing going on.
Yeah, I mean, it is so freaking 80s. It's not even.
It is
funny.
amazingly.
It is amazingly 80s. Now, the one
I
other
kind of
thing,
want to stick something else in
the
there.
one other thing they did that is all really kind of cool was it's got head tracking. So to track your head movement, this thing could actually track your head movement. So here's how it did it. You literally took this little rod, you clipped it to your shoulder, and then when you turn your head, there's a little potentiometer that it's turning like this as you turn your head. So that's how it tracked your head movement. But that being said, it worked.
It worked.
It was really stupid simple.
You gotta give it
and
points
you
for working.
Turned your head left and right, it turned left and right.
What if you don't like wearing shirts when you're gaming?
Well, yeah, if you're then you're in trouble
Then
there.
you-
Well, that's modern. That's modern stuff. I
You
mean,
clip it to your chest hair.
Yeah. But really, again, it wasn't a bad, considering what they were trying to achieve for its time, they did a good job. It just was maybe, again, a little ahead of its technology.
Well, but you know what was almost it almost sort of killed the whole idea in some level, because these things came out in the 80s and so didn't deliver. That
True.
it sort of soured people on the idea of
That is very true.
You know,
Because people had seen Lawnmower Man and all that other crap.
Yeah.
Oh my God, VR headsets! Oh look at that! How cool that is!
Yeah.
And this was nothing even close.
right. And so I heard it when early in Oculus, people talking about, oh yeah, I've seen virtual reality before, it all sucks,
And that's very true. This kind of virtual reality did sour people on virtual reality. Again, the promise it made was nowhere near what it did. It really did not deliver at all. So it was a problem as far as that goes. So that's really where we started. Now, again, because it had a composite input as well, we would hook it up to, at that time, again, the Amiga, and we played games like Stunt Car Driver, which was a first-person driving game that had really nice 3D, and the game was freaking awesome on here. Now, mind you, it did not have head tracking in that game. You could only look straight ahead on the track, but it really was a good effect for its time. So we played that an awful lot. All right. And yes, we watched porn on it too.
yeah, I was just about to say that.
Yeah, of course we did. Porn always sells. All right.
It's a driver of technology.
It is for VR. I'm sorry. It's what drove VR. It still is driving VR to some extent. All right. So that's kind of where we
What's
started.
funny is, so a couple of episodes back of the show Ballers, there's
Oh, the VR.
there-
Yeah. I could watch that one.
the one guy.
Oh, don't we wish VR was that good? No, VR's not that good yet. Trust me. Trust me. We've got plenty of VR here. It isn't that good yet. Yeah, not even close yet. Okay. But, so that was the 80s. Then the 90s roll around. We talked about these first commercial units.
Yep.
That were really beginning to be the beginnings of
Was
modern
there a
VR.
lot of VR in the 90s? Because I feel like the 80s soured it, and I feel like it kind of
No, there
went
wasn't
into
a lot in the 90s.
It kind of just went into a desert.
There
It
wasn't a
kinda
lot
just
in the
went into
90s.
sleep.
Again, I think.
But they were talking about it. I mean, there was, Cyberpunk was huge.
Right.
These things were huge. It's just the technology really wasn't there yet.
I mean, the best from my memory, the best we had was like Virtual Boy.
Again? No, but that is a classic example of early virtual reality. That's 90s virtual reality, where they actually started doing the two lenses.
Right.
You know, as
It was 3D.
It was 3D. You had a good 3D effect to it.
Could only do
It just
single
was
color,
not
but
That was a problem.
was Game Boy Color even out yet?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
They made a lot of mistakes with that machine. I mean, we'll
Well, I don't want to get
we're
into
gonna do
weeds
it.
on
We're
the
gonna do
virtual
that. Yeah,
on
we're gonna do
but I'm
that
just
one of these
saying,
days.
That's about the only thing I can think of that like really emerged in the 90s.
Well, no,
that was-
again, like Rob talked about,
Yeah.
there were the BattleTech pods, and what you think of, they still are virtual reality. Not so much where you can look all around, but they kind of immersed you into that world. You got into that pod, you had the big screen in front of you. It kind of felt like you were in that world. It was a good 3D mapped world around you. You know, if you turned your back to the right, you saw it was to the right. If you turned your back to the left, you saw it was to the left. And it was fairly.
Yeah, but it was really, in some level the real world. I mean, you sat in a pod. There was a physical pod. And
Yeah.
There was controls.
But
and there were
that's
physical
kind of what you
controls,
have to have
and it was just like
to feel it. Yeah.
to feel it. You really have to have that.
But now getting with the current stuff, you don't need that physical pod.
Yeah. I mean, you still have
You
a
can sit in
physical
a
control
chair
system.
and you could light up a mech game in an Oculus. I mean, I'm not saying there's one out there right now that does it, but you could sit in that same cockpit in an Oculus and
You're
sit
still-
in this chair.
But I think that,
You know?
but this will get down to some of the points of things you brought along with you and I brought along with me that make a difference in VR. That still kind of are that where the experience is
Yeah.
lacking.
All right, for God's sake, can we enter the modern age?
The 2000s.
Yeah, let's.
All right.
Let's get some. Do you want to talk about the phone stuff, or do you want to talk about?
The phone that's
Because Oculus, we've got a lot. Let's start with Oculus came out with the DK1. That was something you could get off of a Kickstarter. I think I got mine off of eBay.
Yeah, I did not buy mine on Kickstarter. I went ahead and got mine secondhand. I don't think I got mine on eBay. I think I got Craigslist.
And it's actually a decent looking piece of kit. It did have some problems with it that I think they really in the future corrected, but
This was a nice developer's kit.
yeah, it was made so it would come apart. You could hack it. It was definitely built to be hacked.
Right, they did.
And that is the best case ever.
And I was always really I was always impressed with the those lenses, man. Those bowled out
Right.
curvature lenses.
And that's what made the
Man.
difference. So the original Oculus is by today's standards, is fairly clunky. So this is the Oculus DK1, fairly large single screen in here, like the Victor Max. It's a single screen, but here's where things.
I miss the eyeballs on the front.
Here's
Travis
the things where things start to get different. Even though it's a single screen, it's using two images on the screen. The screens are high enough
Right, split
resolution where you can have two separate images on that same screen.
Right.
And they worked out a formula for the distortion that when you project it back through these lenses, it fills your eyes. It fills the horizon on your eyes.
Well, right, and that's another thing. But it's one thing to just have 3D in front of you, but it's another thing to also encompass your
Peripheral vision. Yes.
You know?
And that does make a big difference. The original Oculus DK, because, again, part of VR, which is always still difficult for some people, is your eyes.
Yeah.
If you have an issue with your eyes, if you have a weak eye or an issue with an eye or your vision's not great, VR can be a problem still. I mean, we have a friend who just can't do VR, Ben.
Yeah, because his eye floats off this. He's watching.
I know he is.
His eye floats off this way, and
Yeah.
it's really kind of disconcerting.
Yeah, especially for us, but not for the VR. But he can't. He would love to do 3D. He'd love to do VR, and it just doesn't work as well for him because physically of his eyes.
Well, let's say you wear glasses.
Well,
You gotta get the more.
but that's they actually made this so you can start wearing it over your glasses, and that makes a difference. The original Oculus DK1 was a really, like Rob said, a nice kit. They did a good job. This was this was not meant to be commercial. This was meant for development. Where they get it right is the ability. This has head tracking now, and so basically, there's accelerometers built into the headset that track your head movement up, down, left, right. And so when you look around,
That spring noise is gonna.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Nuts.
So when you look around, it actually looks
Just
around,
wipe it against the
and
spring.
that's where they got that. That was the first, I think, big change.
Yeah, I
in
think
the-
that is big. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's big.
And
In
having
fact,
it built
it's-
into the headset so that it's a completely seamless experience that the tracking is built in. So that's where the DK1 makes its
Probably
big
the first time I
jump.
looked at one, and I just said, "Wow, this is it." You know, it's come of age.
Yeah, and that's it. This is VR coming of age. Now we'll get more into that later, but
It's the first time I shit my pants too. Like I played a game. I mean, just said,
Really?
"Oh, geez, well, I didn't shit." Like, I just said, "Fuck this, I'm done."
oh yeah, no, they're
There's a lot of that going on now.
yeah.
What was it? Dread Halls.
Oh,
did
yeah,
the,
jump scare.
Oh, I did. JJ put it down too. He like freaked out, but that little fucking girl, I turned around, that little bitch was right there. I said, "Fuck this. I'm out." I just pulled that damn headset off and I was done.
But again,
You know what? You know it's so to speak working. When you first pull the headset off, and it takes you a minute to reorientate.
yes,
Like, oh wait, no, this is actually reality.
yeah, no, it did. You're right, it did. That's how you know that was a good system. Again, the DK1, they did a really good job on it.
The DK one, I think, was it was a good proof of concept.
Right, and here's
Sure.
the thing: developers did go nuts for it.
The first time you did that roller coaster and you were stupid enough to stand and then you fell.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, and you're like, just wow, you know.
yeah, and like I said, developers did a really good job for it.
What gave them a unified device to all work off of, instead of them all trying to design their own piece of equipment.
And that makes a big difference. You know, that's kind of the shortcoming of the other ones we'll talk about in a bit. The Google Cardboard concept, because that's a multi-platform device. This is a single-platform device. The resolution's always going to be the same from device to device. The tracking is the same from device to device. Everything is the same. So you're right, a
Obviously,
unified
makes
platform.
software development a lot easier.
Yeah, most definitely. And they came out with other good development tools for it. In the early days of Oculus, on the Oculus development site, they had great proof of concept demos. People were putting out all sorts of short games, things you could test out and try. I mean, it had a lot of cool stuff. So then comes DK2, Development Kit 2. Again, this was not meant as a commercial unit, but wow, the upgrades on this were pretty dramatic. The number one upgrade on this, but great, don't tell me I forgot to bring it with me, is the camera. The DK2, I didn't bring the camera with me, damn it, has a motion tracking camera on it. Oh, great, I left it at home. Okay, so the DK2 actually has a motion tracking camera on it. So, yes, it still has the accelerometer in it and could track your motion that way as well. But, and you can't see them, but there's a series of infrared LEDs behind this cover. And the motion tracking camera locks on those. So now, not only do you have left, right, up, down, now you've got what makes all the difference in the world. You've got the ability to move in and out a frame. So when you lean forward to look at something up close, it comes in at you.
And you have a resolution that's halfway decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other big thing. Screen costs keep coming down. So at this one now they not quite double, but damn near double the resolution. It's
Well, it was technically the first one was 1080, right?
I want to say 1080 on the first one.
And then it was split though, so it wasn't a real 1080. It wasn't really high def.
Right. This one's high def now.
Yeah.
So that makes a really big difference. But again, the problem that a lot of people, that would get people sick or make people disoriented out of the DK1 was you'd move forward and you wouldn't move forward in virtual reality.
Right.
So if you lean forward on that, you didn't move. And that disorientates people. Also screen dooring because of the low resolution. Screen
screen
dooring
door
is
effect,
you can actually kind of see the black lines between the pixels. That also made people that was part of why people would get sick. All that goes away with the DK2. The DK2 now tracks this motion, which makes a big difference, and the resolution's high enough that the screens are fairly smooth. You don't get the tearing, you don't get the screen dooring effect. It made a big difference.
Plus, it's 20% more sexy.
It is, as you can see now, they've made the case quite a bit nicer. This is as they're getting closer to having a commercial unit. They're coming up as far as that goes.
Isn't that about when they sold it?
I don't know if that was about when they sold it, but
Facial.
the only thing I am going to complain about the DK2, really, guys, you couldn't have done it. You did such a freaking awesome job on the initial box, and you give me this crappy ass cardboard box for the DK2. You could have done better on that. You know, you give me this really nice plastic box. Normally, actually, I don't even keep this one in here. I keep it in. I've got an extra plastic box. I keep it in the extra plastic box.
I'm guessing that they at least kind of heard it for the third one, because at least they put it in a reasonable box.
Which brings up now.
So now we got production.
Right.
Which, in production, they kind of went crazy with it.
They did a nice. I like what they did with production. So now we are no longer in the DK.
Yeah. Now you're talking the production level.
So this is this is a CS1.
Yes, and this thing. Notice how there's no real box built into it. I do keep a hub because the motherfucker needs
1,000 plugs.
It does.
Okay, that was part with the DK2. You had to have multiple USB plugs for it.
Right. So now you got basically the basic black box, which are now semi-famous for. You've got adjustments. You've got adjustments up on the front now, so that you can make it a little bit deeper, and on the top, and it's a much more svelte package. You can see it's like pretty svelte. Also, the other important thing is the lenses no longer leave the unit. Therefore, it's sealed in here, because one of the big problems you had in the early models was you'd get some damn lint in that thing, and it would drive you crazy. It drove me nuts.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, of course, they added headphones. So headphones are built into it. Actually, halfway decent ones. I mean, they actually sound really good, so that you can immerse yourself, and you don't have to put on an extra pair of headphones.
Yes.
But that makes a big difference. It really does.
Can you use a headphone still?
You can flip them up and use your other ones. Also, they started including the VR remote. So when you're watching porn, you can have full control over your fast forward in your.
Is that another USB port, or is it?
No, it's
wireless.
It's wireless.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Bluetooth. And then you hit. Turn on. Get in there, son of a bitch.
Well, it's nice. It's got a hand thing. So
Yeah, it does.
When you
Yeah,
track of where it is.
when you're watching porn, it's just strapped right around your
Yeah,
wrist.
right. Then of course you have stands built into the cameras at this point. Now,
Here's
this is
another
something
difference.
interesting, and I'm going to bring that up with the next box that I got. Actually, I got 2 more boxes. I didn't bring the other box because this is stupid. But you need it. You should have it anyway. It would be my recommendation. Also note that in the final version, it includes an Xbox controller, because they feel that is an important part of the experience, that you should have a decent game controller. But then, is the remote spunk-proof? No. No, it is not.
Are you sure?
I sorted out 3 of those.
Okay, never mind.
So,
it is not
that
spunk-proof.
one. I'm sorry, I killed 3 of those. Yeah.
Yeah, one of our users just asked.
Yeah. So that was fucking Ben. But
well, Ben, you should know it's not. You spunked on it enough.
I know. But anyway, yeah, it includes the Xbox One controller as well in the kit, and all the extensions for that. They also added, I don't know if the 2 had this, but they also added, the basic Oculus experience, where it's in its own little world, where they basically try to turn the Oculus into its own Steam, where it actually has its own store and everything else, and you actually have to make setting changes to allow it to run outside programs, which is just annoying. I mean, it's annoying. It's arbitrary. This war between them and Steam is annoying as hell, and the only people who suffer is those of us who adopt VR.
Right.
Anyway.
And Steam was an early adopter of the Oculus. They actually had a section in their launcher specifically for Oculus titles.
And then, right. So, the hell. So eventually, what you get to is these little controllers. And these are, generally now they try to package them all together. but these were, they were aftermarket for a while. And these are basically a reproduction. If you look, they're basically an Xbox controller with the same buttons, but they're touch sensitive. So if I just put my finger on this, it knows that I have my finger on this, and it makes for some very minute adjustments you can make in game. Yeah, they're definitely positioned. Yeah, it tracks where they're at. In fact,
cameras, right?
yeah, these guys track where they're at. They know where this guy's at, and it also, like I said, it also has that ability to track the hands, and it makes for very realistic hand movements in games. And this is the thing that really makes Oculus some pretty awesome shit. I mean, I really like these controllers a lot. I think they work really well. I've never thrown one. They do include lanyards.
Well, I would hope you wouldn't throw them because they ain't cheap.
There's a lot of games where you can.
Well, yeah, because there was one I was playing. It was it was a shooting game, and the aliens were attacking, and eventually they were eating my legs, and it was just freaking me out. I get off me, and I could see throwing them then.
I've had one game freak me out in this, but of course it includes yet another camera, so you can be tracked by 2 cameras. Now, I'm going to tell you, realistically, if you're going to do room level VR, you should have 3 of these. I have 3 of them, so that when I'm playing in the living room, you need a lot of fucking space. Even my living room, I got a
10 by 10,
I have
right?
a big, and I have a big living room. Because we're open concept and we recorded in it before.
Yeah.
It's a large area. And even then, I've had issues with room, but yeah, you need really 3 of these, 2 in the front, 1 in the back.
I didn't say anything, okay? I'm gonna let that one lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that one lie. But anyway, yeah, 3 of them definitely for that.
It's called the Shocker, but it's
I want to mention that there's a game called Roller Recall, and it made me fucking freak out. That was the only game I've had that really. I mean, you get hyped up for a game and you kind of overreact to some games, but this game really, I was alone and. Well, I thought I was alone, but Darlene and Jonah were watching, and they laughed their ass off because I fucking screamed. I was done. Basically what happens with it is you're watching a bunch of televisions, in a store, and some robots walk up. And, it's obviously futuristic.
Right.
It's a futuristic game, so. These robots are walking up, they're watching TV with you, and they're talking about how there was a robot outbreak where the robots started killing humans. And they go, that's terrible, we would never do that, and they're talking to each other.
That's nice of them.
And then, and then all of a sudden they start acting a little bit more mean as the story goes on. And they're like, actually, that doesn't sound like such a bad idea. And they're all talking among each other.
Yeah.
And then,
wait, why are we going to them?
The last part of the scene, they all turn and they look right at you for it seems like an hour. It's really about 3 seconds, but you're in there. I mean, you are in there. Everywhere you look, it's really good. The graphics are like you're really on a city street. Okay,
Yeah.
Really looking through the shit, and the robots just look at you and fucking lunge, and I'm like, oh fuck. I went, ah, no. Yeah, I took it off at that, but I still played the game because it's fucking awesome. But I was fighting for my life on that one. It's great. You kill a bunch of robots.
Wow.
Alright, so that said, future gaming. Is VR the future of gaming?
I'm gonna say.
Because damn it, Video Gamer wants to hear this.
All right. Okay. I think we're on the right track now, and yes, I do believe it's the future of gaming. So here's the thing, and I think I was going to tell you as good as this is, and as good as the Vive is, I'm going to tell you who got it right. Samsung and Oculus got it right. So this is one of the first generations of the Gear VR for your Samsung phone. The newer ones are not much different. They're just a different color, a little bit sleeker looking.
Ignore the fan to cool your phone down.
And you had to with the Samsung phones overheat, so it's an aftermarket product to keep it from overheating. For its limitations, it exceeds on every other level. Samsung has been doing great development on this one with Oculus.
Yeah.
They've been updating the games, updating the marketplace, updating the experience. I started with this right when it first came out, and it was pretty rough when it first came out. The VR part, the individual VR applications were good, but the overall interface sucked. There were all sorts of other issues with it.
It smells like Oculus in here. Have you noticed that?
It, a little like
There's like
Oculus
this.
here.
There's this very. What is it? Characteristic smell of
plastic.
VR gear.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I think it's that band around
The sweat. Oh, the
the
sweat.
sweat band around the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stink band around all the goggles.
Yeah.
You can't change
So
color.
basically, effectively, this is the same thing that you have in the other Oculus, the same kind of optical arrangement, but they're using your phone to do the screen, and most modern phones, well, not most, all modern phones have a better resolution screen than those do. So it makes perfect sense to do it. There are processing limitations and other limitations, but the screen itself is going to be really good. The other thing that you have with the modern day phone, they all have really good accelerometers and G sensors in them. So when it comes to tracking, holy crap, these things are really accurate as far as left and right, up and down. Now here's where they fall down. They fall back down to the problem you had with the original DK1.
In and out.
Yeah, in and out.
There's no in and out on these. You can look around all you want. We are really going to go there tonight, aren't we, Ron? We have just hit everything.
I've been trying.
We have
I've
hit
been
everything
trying.
straight line. But so
Oh.
you lose that. But you know something? The people who are authoring games for that understand that, and so they're careful about how they design the games so that that doesn't become still an issue. That being said, you do notice that when you go from like a CS1 to something like this, that you lose that ability, and boy, losing that ability is a big difference. Also, when the first one came out, you didn't really have, it had this really crappy, I don't like it. They're
It's terrible.
It is horrible. Well, let's move around the
But
game like
I can
this.
tell you where it does work.
Fire like this, porn.
No. It may work fine on porn, but no, I was gonna say those are the devices that basically that Six Flags uses.
The same thing.
They, and they just have the side ones.
They do.
You know, they
and
just
you're
use-
firing like this.
So
right?
yeah, you're just firing like this because
Yeah.
they have them on right now. Last year they had it on the Demon. This year on the Giant Drop.
So
And-
that's showing you the spider. They do the spiders on that when you drop it and you shoot the spiders, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that-
So
but
as
that's-
you go up, you're shooting and you're fighting and stuff, and then it suddenly drops.
So
on
that's a great combination. So what they're doing is they're using commercial VR units
you. Yeah.
with a physical roller coaster or a physical ride, and the combination is pretty freaking amazing. Gives you a motion platform basically. So originally we used Bluetooth controllers with it. That made a big difference in the gaming. With the second generation of this, Oculus has released a hand controller. Samsung and Oculus have released a hand controller. This little
That
fucker
is the hand controller.
is amazing.
It's the same
yeah,
one, right?
It's effectively the same one. They've just modded it a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Right.
very similar.
Yeah, slightly larger thumb pad on it. You can control the volume on your phone. Fire thing. This controller
Works enough.
Oh my god, it works a treat. It really. So it's a one-hand control. That's the only problem. But you get a good feel. You can now your hand moves in time with what you're seeing on the
Such
screen.
up on-
And it makes a big difference in a lot of games. In a sword game or a
Without-
shooting game.
without the need of a camera. to
Correct.
detect it, right?
Correct. It's got its own little accelerometer and G sensor in it. So, whereas this is
You
monitoring your
play,
head
you
movement.
play Fruit
But would that
Ninja
be
like
a
a
little more
maven.
like
Fuck yes.
the Wii controller where
I do like
Oh,
Fruit Ninja.
it takes a minute to center it until you're...
No, it's actually pretty good as far as that
Or
goes.
not
It's a
Because-
very gym-like
right,
statement,
because
wasn't it?
the,
Yeah.
the Wii
Felt
relied
that
on an
afterwards.
external sensor to pick
Yeah.
up your position.
That's-
It had some accelerometers, but by this time now, accelerometer and G-sensing force they've gotten so good that this thing is pretty bleeding amazing for gaming. So this makes a really big difference. This makes this a lot more gameable. And I will, once we get to the future, I'll talk a little bit about the future. I'll talk about what game I'm playing right now. And I'm using this. I've got the other thing, but occasionally I just like strapping. I just like putting this on and playing a stupid simple game where I don't have to have 10 foot of square area around me to play my game. Where I can just sit.
Yeah, and you
And
can do
play-
that with the Oculus too. You
I
can
know.
Sit, in fact, my
Or just-
pick is a sitting game.
Oh, it is? Okay, alright, well good. We'll get to that in a bit.
See, no, I do think.
See how you put me
I
off
think there's
there?
gonna be what?
See how you put me on? That was a that's something we do on the show a lot and don't mention that we do the put off.
The other thing, price point to get you into gaming.
Oh god,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I mean that's much better than
You know,
the price.
Sub
point.
100.
What-
Sub 100.
A third of people have a Samsung phone, right?
Yep.
It's either you're an iPhone, Samsung,
Well,
or
and
some other variant. So there's
That-
a,
Well, I have a cheap ass
you
one,
have a
but still.
huge consumer base with this
Yeah.
device to begin with.
That led to this bad boy right here.
Which it did. Now,
Yeah.
so
Hey,
no,
there,
now talk about that because
No, so it's. I mean, it's really just the lenses and a box, and I do like that it's the DK1 style.
yeah,
it's almost like VR Classic.
Without
Yeah,
the
it is.
cord,
Yeah,
without-
it's DK1 right there.
But you just like suck your phone onto it, shut it up, and you know away you go. But there's no controllers in this at all. There's no
accelerometer.
accelerometers
Well, this
in
uses
these,
this uses the
other
phone
than
to do it,
what's maybe in your phone.
right. That's using the phone to do all of that
right?
motion.
This is pretty much the controllers you're paying for, right?
Yeah, you really the $90
Right,
on
and
this is the controller.
so
And a nice connection.
Right,
and,
right.
Yeah.
so you could use this controller to your phone, and then just use this as a VR, and it works pretty well. It does work pretty well. Oddly enough, I used it to watch Viewmasters, but
Well, again, that goes back to
I don't see the problem
No,
here.
that's what we're talking about though. The ViewMaster is like some of the early.
You made a virtual ViewMaster, which is wow. It's pretty meta.
so, I don't know. It's like I don't like something hanging on my face like that, you know. And so I think that is going to be a bit of a detractor for people. I mean, people don't even like, you know. I'm a 3D junkie. Like I buy all the movies, and you know I got a 3D theater and everything, and you know, and I invite people over and stuff, and of course you got to wear the glasses.
Hollywood's
I can't-
eliminating that.
I know.
But, which is sad.
It is sad, actually.
IMAX decided no 3D anymore.
Yep.
You mean Hollywood?
Hollywood.
Oh,
It
I think
seems
with
like- it
VR,
seems like that's
I
right.
think
Well, that's
eventually
good.
we'll do VR. and
it's
then-
good because that
Yeah.
way my you know at some point there'll be a finite collection. You know that I have almost every one of them. So
Unless
that's,
what? Who's-
I'm sure
Cameron?
eventually
Avatar?
they'll do VR.
and that's
Avatar,
there's
yeah,
a-
James Cameron.
He's planning on coming out with non-glass needing 3D.
Well, and
That's
that's
future.
where I was
That's the
going.
future.
That's where I was going with this. That this is interesting. It is fun. I really like a lot of parts of it. But for a more casual gamer, I mean,
Yeah.
like Rob, you're not a casual gamer, so you know.
Like,
So yeah.
I play casual.
Right. You play casual games, but you're not a casual gamer. And you know, for the casual gamer, it's like I can't even hardly get people to like show up and watch and put glasses, simple light glasses on their face to watch a 3D movie. Yet alone put something like this on their face.
Yeah.
And this thing's super light.
But there is
Until
big
you stick
differences.
your phone in there,
Okay.
and it becomes heavy.
But
pretty
now that
quick.
being said, but look at the rides at Six Flags where they're doing it and people are putting them on.
Well, but people are putting them on, but they're already at a Six Flags. So you know what I mean?
They're
You
willing,
know,
they're willing to take that discomfort.
right? Yeah. I mean, they're already. You know, I mean, how
They've
you know,
already been on those rides a million times.
right now.
Try
You're
it
just looking
differently.
for a little extra experience on it.
I
or
don't know
something.
that regular 3D, which is what they're going to be doing, is ever going to really be able to beat VR. Now, I don't think VR is going to take over the market ever. I don't think it
No,
will. Be.
I
I
mean,
think it's going to be a genre like everything
But
else.
I think
I mean,
it's
you
got a strong enough foothold now that it's going to be. It's kind of like when the Wii came out and the motion sensors and the Kinects and all that kind of came out, and that was sort of
Yeah.
ragey for like a minute. But now they're kind of part of those systems, and people use them. But it's not like their main gaming. You know, I mean, they're still
Yeah.
sitting there with their Xbox controller.
I'm sure there's
They're connected,
enthusiasts.
sitting there looking at them, going, "Well, you don't love me no more." And that is what's going to start the robot war.
That's gonna be it. They're gonna be pissed at
That
us
we
for-
stop playing with
But
them.
I think VR is something that is actually uniquely different. I think it's gonna be a genre. It's gonna be a genre for people who can afford to get the genre.
Well,
That's it.
and
I
then
mean, at $400
price
bucks.
point is a
Not too
real
bad,
problem.
but-
Price point is still a problem because that's on top of
A rig that can play it.
You need a rig that can run it. It's always gonna be a toy. Well, maybe not always, but it's gonna be a toy for people who have enough money to go buy toys. But it'll be a genre just like gaming is. I mean, gaming has the exact same thing. High-end games require a high-end PC.
Well,
And that it'll be
but now
in there.
But
It's a
no,
premium.
but to some extent, again. So the unit Larry's holding is about a $20 unit. You can buy
This?
them. Yeah.
You can get these for
$5
$5.
bucks.
Okay. So
yeah.
now down to $5.
At the
But no,
below $5 store.
I was just looking at what do you call it? Walgreens. I had stopped in Walgreens and they have basically the same thing, $20.
Yeah, they range between $5 and $20.
Yeah. So that makes it no longer prohibitive. Like you talked about, everybody's already got the phone that can handle all the gaming. You just have to have these.
Well, you need to get one of these too.
Yeah, you know,
And
I'm
this
going to agree
is
with you on
gonna be
that.
another
And certain
$20.
retailers were like kind of giving them away. Too,
Oh, yeah.
with the purchase.
Yeah, if you bought
new
it, right,
whatever.
got a new phone, they gave you that. They
Yeah.
still do that. And you're right though, but you have to have a good controller. This makes all the difference in the world. Not that I didn't like my Ninja controller. It was great for doing like
First-person shooters.
first-person shooters. God, I'm trying to think of the crafting one.
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Thank you.
Yeah, Minecraft.
It's great for doing Minecraft.
Minecraft.
This makes a big difference when it starts tracking your hand. That makes
Well,
all
that
the
would make
difference
a
in the world.
gun game interesting.
And the gun games out for it now, because they've got a good controller, are great. There are some amazing gun games on this now.
Are light gun games really dead
Well,
Not really. They've just
Oh.
evolved.
I mean, I haven't done a lot of VR, but the fact that you're holding a single controller in your hand, I think, is a big difference than holding something in each hand
Right.
separately that they each do a different function. Where if you're holding this and you're moving your arms around,
Yeah.
you're not getting that.
It's good for games where you're like controlling like a set vehicle. Which
Yeah.
is, VR excels at. I mean, that experience is second to none. But yeah, for like, I don't know how first-person shooters are going to go. They still haven't really gotten first-person shooters down, real ones.
because of the movement.
Yeah, because of the movement. And there's going to be, that is, I don't see how they're going to correct that in the near future. Not cheaply. Not enough for them to make the hump of being the predominant gaming platform. Now, you know, we'll Call of Duty be still using your damn dual thumbsticks and you're in VR? Probably. They probably will do it eventually. But real VR, the way the future of VR is, it's going to be kind of hard because you're going to need something that you can run on
Right.
to actually feel like you're there.
And they
it's
do
gonna be
have things like
or
that.
you're going to have to plug into people's nerve centers. And then the damn robots are going to take over.
That's right. Then we got
Goddamn
full Matrix.
dirty robots.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get a treadmill to you gotta.
Oh no, they've got some really nice ones.
Yeah,
out.
they made some, but they're huge and they're
Or
expensive.
you wear.
Yeah,
you
basically
wear.
it's a
Yeah,
pod.
dedicated
It's a pod.
outfit, yeah.
You wear a nice sock outfit and a slippery service.
There are no. There's one there's
Yeah,
one that works like
It's a
that.
community.
No, but there is actually one. No, there is actually one where you wear a harness that holds you in place,
Yeah.
and you have slippery shoes on,
Yeah.
and it slips on the base. But the base
You know what I was thinking of is it was Pacific Rim when they were controlling
right,
the
but
robots.
Oh, yeah.
but no, but that's very similar to how those units work. They're wearing a full harness, and your feet move.
That said, VR is the future of porn. Because you can definitely get yourself a super suck and plug that thing in.
They do make actually VR porn. I'm not.
Yeah.
we
Oh,
should
yeah, I
talk
know.
about that a little
Oh,
bit.
see,
I know.
you're wrecking this
Oh,
for
please.
me.
Like anybody who doesn't have a VR
Haven't
system
watched porn.
has-
No, I mean, but there's like some.
hasn't wondered.
There-
Like I said,
They do
what would
have.
a 50-foot
They
badge
do
look
have
like?
all
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Wow, I hadn't yet, but now that you mention it,
Who hasn't wondered this?
But now that you mention it, I think I need to find that one. Oh God.
I'm over here watching Donald Duck Viewmasters, and
Yeah, and he's got a 50-foot badges.
Get a super suck on high.
All right. Okay, so
Wow.
I do believe. I mean, because the price point. Okay, so give an example again about the price point getting down. So this is a basically Google Cardboard, which was one of the first kind of DIY VR phone units they made.
Iron Man Virtual Viewer. Yeah,
it's
baby.
really cool. Literally, they're giving away with cereal box tops, effectively. As if y'all
Yeah, it
remember
was the
kids
prize
stuff.
in the box.
Yeah, it's not quite the prize in the box. You had to send away for it, but
Right.
this shows
Probably
you
had to
how.
cut off a couple box tops.
Yeah,
and send it in.
you had to enter some codes and so on and so forth. But again,
But the same
so
level of
literally
effort
this
to
is
get Boba
made
Fett.
right. This is made by a cereal company, VR via a cereal company. So that shows you that it is the future of gaming. It's got a few things that they need to work out, but as the computers and phones and everything catch up to us,
I think
they'll
it's
get there.
it's not the future of gaming, but I think it's now found a true home, and it isn't just a fad. It's,
Right.
It's part of the gaming milieu now.
Community, yes.
And it's just I'm going to do a little of this later. I'm going to do a little of that later, and now this is part of that. I'm going to do that.
Very much so. You're right. It won't replace sitting down at your TV and playing a game, or sitting down at your computer and
Yeah.
playing a game. But it will be something you turn to, like I do. I mean,
Yeah.
I still sit down, again, occasionally I drop into Minecraft with this. Minecraft in virtual reality is fucking amazing.
And
I can
it
tell you,
screws you
so-
up.
Yeah, it does.
So we were
It's
we
way
all,
scarier.
Yeah, oh god, yes. You look over cliffs, man. It's like,
Yeah.
for
it is
our,
way
for
scarier.
our for our Disney show. We all flew back on the same plane, and it was. There was Tom with his VR gear on.
damn straight.
In
It's
the
a lot of
plane.
fun. I'm gonna do some gaming.
And I was like, that's a really good use of VR gaming on a plane.
I was very uncomfortable when he started touching himself, though. I thought that was a very.
You weren't supposed to notice I was playing that game. So,
We're still in a public place.
And now you bring out all these cameras that were needed and
Yeah.
stuff. And we talked about price point as being prohibitive, and of course you get these lower units and stuff. But to really kind of feel those things, you really do got to jump to that other price point. And these are nice, but I experiencing all of them. The Oculus stuff is just so out there.
Yeah.
But
And
now-
HTC 's
now,
still-
I read
yeah,
an
the
article
vibe
today.
is, yeah.
I read an article
Yeah,
today. Microsoft's getting in the business, and
Yeah, they mentioned
they're
it for a
gonna
while.
they're going to introduce some units that are in that 300 category, but
Mixed.
no cameras or anything.
Mixed reality.
Mixed reality.
Yeah.
Multiple vendors behind it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so they're right now they're doing a different approach to VR. They're doing augmented reality.
Yes, what they're
So-
doing is they're taking a 3DS and they're sticking it to your head.
Effectively, yes.
Oh.
So no, they're doing
So-
augmented reality. So basically, it projects 3D images into your existing environment. I like the
It's
idea.
actually good tech. but-
It is good tech. I actually like that idea in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No cameras or anything needed.
Right. And again, that's a big
Except the
plus.
one on your head recording
Right.
things. So that
And there is. They're
Exactly, yeah.
exactly. What they're doing is they're using all the
Right, because they
sensors.
can bounce it off. You could
Exactly.
Oh, are they gonna use
Nope.
They go the other.
not the cameras, but be able to
No, not even motion
No.
sensor external. So it's just strictly on your head. Now that being said, it will not track your hands that way. They've got controllers that will track your hands.
which looks similar to like
Right,
those
but
or
they're
the
probably
Vive
more
thing.
like this, where they put a G and accelerator in it.
Yeah, where you.
Right.
It's
You know-
going to be a sensor that has a rough idea where you're at, but
Where your
it's not
hand is
going to be
at.
like.
Right. You don't need that. So literally, this thing will. If I rotate my hand, it rotates.
I
it
do find
in
that
the VR.
amazing when
That
when
said-
that's what I'm talking about. The difference between this
Yeah.
and something like that is like you sit there and you get in there and you just start moving your hand just because like that's just so cool.
Yeah. Exactly.
That said, it will know where your hands are when you're in front, I suppose, because it can use video tracking to figure that out.
Right. It can
You'll
actually
be able to
the
see it.
unit
What
itself.
about,
Good
like,
idea.
go to like
Well, then you're
Which
probably.
Which wouldn't surprise me if that's what they're doing. I haven't
So
seen
you're
it.
probably a little bit.
And then you use it to go fishing.
yeah,
I see no Oculus fishing.
just
I bet
gas
there
fishing.
is. I would assume.
Small one.
Small one.
Damn it.
And then you just grab the Dreamcast controller just because it feels
Yeah,
right.
just because it feels right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it sounds like they're building that into the fall release of Windows 10 and crap.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, nice.
or whatever the fall winter release,
And now they're going to record the inside of your house.
and they're talking
And-
about Halo VR.
Oh, would that be nice? I'm sorry, I would love that.
Would that be the start of like a good? If they're willing to put the money into a first-person shooter that way, is that the jump-started first-person shooter VR?
I think it could be.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah, you
Halo
could
was
probably do
always
it.
the first one was always I thought like a slower paced, like normal speed character rather than just like running on the wall.
The
and
next step
crap
is
and
the vest that, like, when you get shot, it pokes you.
bam.
Man.
Okay, I didn't bring that along tonight. I got those. The activator vests. That when you had the base had basically a subwoofer in it.
We had that
And
hooked up to VR too.
Yeah, we did once.
That did
people
work.
loved it.
That worked
actually.
for the roller coaster because it was
Yeah.
basically it was effective. I'm just talking about like almost like a skin tight thing that, like, if I'm shot over here and it like pokes me there.
Hey, eventually they probably will.
They can definitely get poked in VR.
Rob's done a little
no,
poking
that's-
in VR.
I do think one of the worries
That
about
sounded like Ready Player One now, the book, that kind of stuff. With their VR that they talk.
Yeah, the thing I worry about with augmented reality is the Pokemon Go phenomenon. The fact that people may not be paying attention to what's actually going on around them. And that is going to be the
While
problem.
they're wearing a
Yeah, it's going to limit what kind of games you can actually do because there.
All right,
if you
quick
leave
safety
things open,
tip:
right-
don't play games while you're driving.
Yeah, no, not a good idea.
Virtual reality or not.
If there's a sign that says "Do not enter," you should probably obey that sign as a general rule.
Yeah.
I am as much for protest, but I don't protest for Pokemon. Signs everywhere. There's signs. Fuck 'em, I want Pokemon. Oh.
All right, so
But seriously, I do think that's a serious problem. You've got. Man, I do not want to be seeing people playing VR Frogger with augmented reality. VR
that's right,
Frogger.
and that's where the problem will come into play.
Yeah.
Augmented reality is going to bring that kind of issue up.
And that
Versus
is where
VR. Versus
No,
that is
VR.
where they're going to
I
limit
think he used to joke at working in the IT business, and then it's like, stop playing solitaire on my system.
Damn
Play a
it.
better game.
Yeah, if you're at least going to break company policy to play a game, play something good, will you?
Right.
God's sake. It's true. All right.
I'm just learning how to double click.
That is his history of it.
Single
game
click,
was
double click,
included
and
in
drag and drop.
Here's
practice
Cookie
double
Clicker go to
clicking.
town, you know?
And single clicking.
All right, so let's talk about our favorite VR games.
All right, let's throw one out.
I'm going to start this out. So, again, this new controller has added a lot of functionality. Again, the other controllers are nice, but again, if I don't want to set up, this had a lot of functionality as far as hand controls. There's a game called Wands. It's a cross-platform VR game. Basically, it's a magic wand dueling. It has a full kind of steampunk feel. You design your own wands with different types of abilities, shield, offensive, trap, that kind of thing. You're in an arena. I like how they handled movement because, again, VR doesn't do movement well, like running or whatever. Even when you're playing on a D-pad, you teleport in this one. So you always have a teleport spell on your wand, and you teleport from point to point.
Which is the basic mode of movement now.
Right,
VR.
right, if you're not going to fix movement. And it works really well. It gives you a really good feel. You're standing, you teleport to a new place, and you're there. Beautiful graphics, great game. It has an online play element. You can do practice rounds. It's got a whole point system. They did a really good job on it. So again, it's called Wands. I know it's on several platforms, but I'm playing it on the Gear VR, so I'm playing it on the Android platform. And again, yeah, this controller, and you can play it with this controller too. It works with these kind of controllers.
For sure. Yeah.
But, when you're dueling and you're pointing your wand and you're selecting your menus, it's freaking
like I said,
awesome.
when you're playing Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
You
that's
don't
the
play
best.
Fruit Ninja
Fruit
this
Ninja's
way.
the
shit.
You gotta play Fruit Ninja
Like
this way.
this, exactly. It makes a big difference. So that's what I've been playing. And I mean, it's really good. I play some other ones. A lot of first-person shooter ones that are really good too. But this particular game I really like.
Good stuff.
Yeah, the online play is great. I love the online play on this one.
So Ryan told me that his favorite game was
Maybe he'll
Wii
be back. We could have just built.
was Wii P, which is a game you play on the Wii, and you wear a strap on, and the Wii wire is your and you pee in
You just
various
got me to
places.
leave the room.
All right, it's not even a real game, but nothing.
No,
What?
Favorite VR game.
Still alive.
your favorite VR game?
Wait, it's my turn now?
Yeah, sure.
Mario Tennis for Virtual Boy.
Ah!
No.
But it's a good VR game.
Actually,
Fair enough.
I mean, I haven't played a lot of VR games, but I finally saw like how everything will work with what was the Vive, where the game that was demoed, where you were able to use both controllers. It was just a shooting game.
Oh god, that Shield game! I got
The
what was
Shield
it
game,
called
right?
again? Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
So,
a shooting one, right?
Yeah.
With the
Because-
aliens and
yeah.
and
The
they're
wave
eating
attack
you.
game.
And oh yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that was a very good introduction to show that
It was
controllers work. You can use them for different ways,
Well,
like different weapons, the looking around,
That was one
having
of the.
both hands do different things.
Well,
I
that
think-
was the game where I was like looking at my gun. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
So I've been close to buying something for my computer. I've just been lazy and cheap,
yeah. I think I
and it's I don't know. My Steam collection has a couple of VR titles listed in the bottom there, and I'm like, once I do this, I'll have to buy a whole bunch of more games. I guess that's what I do, right? Buy games.
Hey, that's
so-
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly just collect. Don't actually play.
Just-
Just collect mostly.
No, that's it.
Yeah. So the technology's there. I think it's like, but seeing a game like I forget what the game name of it was.
I do
called.
too. I can't think of it right off the top, but that was a good one.
Yeah.
It was simple. It just shows you how everything works in the game, with VR. And I think those are steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what that game is.
Yeah, we'll
and-
post a link to it.
And Rob will post a link.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's how I
If
gave
Travis
myself
wasn't
no
spending all weekend
responsibility
trying
in
to
that.
get it to work.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Larry will be posting a link.
All right, Larry, how about you?
Well, I haven't played a tremendous amount of games on the VR, but and I'm gonna mess this up because I always mess up the title. Keep Talking, No One Dies.
Oh,
No, it
God.
explodes.
Yeah,
No,
keep
it
talking.
explodes.
Explode.
Great game.
And I love the idea of I'm in the virtual reality, so I'm someplace else, but I'm talking to someone else, and they're interacting with me, and it's this cooperative thing, and of course you can take turns and stuff, and it's just such a fun game, and it's so fun to be cooperative that way and stuff like that. It's an interesting use of it.
Right, and again, I like what they do with the VR there. Again, that one picks up your head tracking, so when you lean in,
Yeah.
you can see things up close.
Yeah.
But there's no movement in the game. You're sitting at a table with
Right.
the bomb.
Yeah.
So they eliminate that whole. This is again where a game was designed to work
And you're
well
just
with
kind
VR.
of lifting the bomb around and going, oh, okay, I gotta clip that or whatever. But
You're right. That's a good call, actually. I
That's
should
a
thought
good
about that
game.
one. That is a good game.
I played that with Brandon, I think, at NGC last year. It was really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Not last year, the year before.
No, that's a
Well,
great game.
And so if you don't know, your VR piece, you're sitting at the table with the bomb, and you have a headset on, but you technically don't have a headset on.
The
but,
idea is
but-
you're the one
but-
sitting there
but-
with the bomb.
But you're talking to a bomb expert, so you're like first guy on the scene.
Who is your
kinda.
buddy? Who's probably
And
drunk.
your
Yeah.
bomb ex- and
He's
and
like
they
on
have
the
the
radio
manual.
or the phone.
Yeah,
or something
he's
like
on
that.
the radio, so he's somewhere else. He's
Oh, he's
like
sitting
in a
right next to
building
you,
or
but you don't
something.
know.
Right.
he's sitting.
Yeah,
Right.
and he has the manual. So you got to tell him what kind of bomb you have because only you can see it.
The blue
And he's
one.
going to flick through the manual and try to go, oh, okay, the first thing you got to do to disarm this bomb is cut the yellow wire. And so then you cut the yellow wire. And it's like, okay, well, what else do you see? And of course, if you don't describe it correctly, he's not going to use the right manual, and you're going to explode. So
Yeah, no, again, that game is perfect for VR.
Yeah.
All right, Rob, that leaves you.
All right, Battlezone VR.
Ooh,
1978. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Well,
it's
Line
not- it's a
graphics,
remake.
vector graphics, I assume.
Where you
No
put
such
your
luck.
face into the
No, but you're in the
No.
tank, man. It's pretty good. You know, unfortunately, it does have they put DRM on it, which I think is kind of weird. You know, don't do that in the age of. It doesn't work. DRM is
it's
a
a
relic
different
of a
episode.
bygone age.
It really is.
It doesn't work. They hack it. It just pisses off the people who actually bought your game. I don't notice the DRM, so I don't really care that much. But still, I'm paying for DRM, which doesn't fucking work, and you can download the game on the Pirate Bay on day one.
Right.
So it makes no sense to get it. Just don't waste your fucking money. Quit doing these executive lunches with these guys that are selling you crap, and save your consumers some money.
Yeah,
But
if
anyway,
you put this on it, nobody's going to be able to
Right.
distribute
Yeah,
your game.
bullshit.
No, everybody's going to distribute
people
free
who want to
stuff.
pirate shit
hours.
just pirate
For
it. People
12
who don't.
hours,
Yeah.
you'll feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah, people who don't want to pirate it, don't pirate it. People
exactly.
who just
We
do
buy
it.
your game.
Right.
It saves that issue. Make a good game. I am definitely buying it.
Nonetheless, the game is fucking great because you're in the battle zone tank. You're looking around. You can, you know, like the actual screens do stuff. It's really freaking awesome. I love the fact that, you know, the window's, you know, statically there, and you know, sometimes when I want to see something, I lift up a little bit to look through the window, and you can see
works,
more
right.
because it actually works. You can actually look through the window better because you're in a pretty big tank, and you know, visibility is limited. So you go around, you just shoot a bunch of crap. The missions are fairly hard. I mean, it's not like the hugest game on earth, but it just is fun. It captures the spirit of Battlezone, and the Battlezone remake was 95 or whatever, but Battlezone was remade later, and it's kind of a, it isn't that game, but it's kind of a hybrid between the two. It's more basic than that, but it's really fun. I really enjoy playing it, and the VR is just really good. I love when a tank blows up and you're like in it, and it's like all just busted up around you, and you're like, ah, man, I fucked up. It's fun. I like it a lot. It's tense. It's tense enough that you forget that you're playing a game, and I like that. You can only play it with a controller, fair warning, and you can only play it with an Xbox controller, so screw you if you've got something else. Apparently, is it Xbox? You gotta play with an Xbox controller, because Xbox controllers are the only controllers worth having. Was that Hank Hill, or was
That
it,
was Hank Hill, actually, yeah.
He's,
Yeah, no, that was Hank Hill.
propane boning session.
Yeah, Brian's turned into
Damn
Hank
it,
Hill.
Bobby.
Damn it! Damn it, Bobby! You need some. You need
Uses a
a
propane
controller for the
generator, sir.
Xbox. Anyway, damn it! My tank damn well blew up. Must have been the propane. All right, I'm done.
All right,
That said, got a couple yellows.
we have a lot of yellows, actually.
Number one this weekend.
In Racine, if you are in Racine, bring it up on the screen.
I don't have it.
There is a charity event going on at McCullough's Bar in downtown Racine. It's called McCullough's on the Square. One of our good buds is going to be doing a what's called Half-Life. I'm sorry, Extra Life.
Well, I called
I keep
it.
going. I stopped calling it Second Life. I've called it Half-Life.
I called it second.
He's doing what's called Extra Life. It is a great gaming charity. So he is going to be playing all day for charity. He is playing one of our all-time favorite couch co-op games, GoldenEye, for the original. Come on,
64.
thank you, N64. Game is fucking awesome. It was a great couch co-op game, and he is going to be going to town all day long for that. So, if you're in the Racine, Wisconsin area, southeastern Wisconsin, stop into a great pub called McCullough's on the Square. It's in downtown Racine. Really cool location, great pub. We know the people, everybody there is just amazing. Check out what they're doing there. It's for a good cause. Make sure to check that out. What are we doing though, Rob?
Oh, we're in Madison.
Yeah. Otherwise, believe me, we would be at this event if we
nice!
weren't going to be there. Okay, so what are we doing this weekend,
We're
guys?
hanging out with Lars of the Trident!
At
Hold on, god dang it. Why do you, when you don't remember the name, why do you
Man
try
with
and get
Power?
me? Man with Power, yeah. Man with Power in Madison. What's the venue?
The venue is called the Red
Zone.
Thank you.
It's near the campus. It's actually a couple of bars, but Red Zone's part of that bar.
Well, it's one place, but got kind of a bar restaurant up front, and then it's got a nice venue, kind of.
Right, and they are doing a metal fest in
back.
Madison.
Yeah.
I do.
They are.
Yeah, Lords of the Trident are putting it on, but there's
Yeah.
a bunch of heavy hitters hitting this. Do you have the list of names?
No.
Are we ahead? No. Are we well researched?
No.
Well, I know
There's a
Connection
bunch
is
of-
going to be one of them.
Okay,
for
so
sure.
there's one of the
I
bands.
also know Inner Siege.
Right.
And
So
Steel Iron.
Do they have a bunch of names you can't read?
no, they're pretty good. They've
Because
had-
of the
but there's like
text.
five.
Droid
There's like 5 bands playing.
Automation.
Right. So it's
starting
it's,
at
Droids Attack.
5-ish
yeah, starting at about 5 p.m.
6 bands.
6 bands.
bands.
6 bands.
Starting at 5.
Doors open at 5:30.
All right. Doors open at
I
5:30.
think first band.
So
First band is
now,
6:30.
but here's the really cool thing. Besides it being a really cool metal fest put on by a really cool metal band, we're gonna be there.
We're gonna be there.
And what are we doing there, Larry?
We are gonna have a display of band-related video games.
Retro video games.
Retro video games. So your Aerosmith,
Yep.
Revolution X,
Kiss.
your Kiss Pinball, your Journey Escape on the 2600.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
everything before Guitar Hero.
Yeah, well, you
No,
know,
honestly, no, I'm not gonna lie. I actually thought about talking about VR tonight.
We
thought
thought
about
about
bringing
that.
out Guitar Hero on the VR, which is a great VR version of Guitar Hero.
Too much room.
10 by 10 space.
Yeah,
Rob, exactly, Rob. Right.
Now we are
Too
gonna
much
have
room.
We're gonna have a couple treats. We will have a Vectrex for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And that we'll be doing Death Chase on that. It's not strictly a band thing, but
It fits well
is
with the
very
theme.
metal.
It is very.
It is
nice.
very metal. So
Holy
that's gonna be
Diver on the
exciting.
NES, which was never released in the U.S., but I've got a U.S. version of it.
Yeah, which is officially like I was doing some reading up on
It's
that.
unofficially.
It's an unofficial homage to the metal world.
Yep.
I mean, it's like you're trying to save your son, Ronnie, like Ron
Yeah.
James Dio,
Yeah.
and it's like, your dad is Ozzy.
Yeah.
It's
No, we are gonna bring some really cool.
Heavy Metal Geomatrix.
Oh God, yes.
String.
Okay,
Yeah.
and a really a very unusual game called Motorhead that literally has Lemmy going around beating the shit out of people.
yeah.
How much better do you get
Yeah,
than that?
on an Amiga 32.
Yeah, the CD32.
The CD32.
Yeah.
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 Good
There's a
stuff.
CD
That's
No,
Solid
I have it.
gaming.
I've got it. I'm gonna bring it. You could play it on the CD32, but I'm bringing it on the SX1 connected to the CD32.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to show people how it's kind of a rare piece of hardware. I want to show it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're in Madison next weekend, definitely show up.
Yeah, no, this coming weekend. not
Oh,
next
sorry,
weekend,
this
not-
weekend,
yeah,
yeah.
This weekend.
Like
this
this coming
weekend
weekend,
is
yeah,
gonna
second.
be-
Buy your tickets
Labor
now.
Day weekend. Tickets are available at the door. They're not sold out yet. If you guys are silver or gold ticket holders, I know Ty has already announced there's some extra
Oh.
gifts for you guys coming out.
Yeah.
Stop
Those
by-
are sold out.
Yeah,
Let us know you heard
and
about it
gold
on
are
the
all sold out.
podcast, and you might get a special gift.
Yeah, stop back and see us. Tell us.
And
tell
it
us
isn't
you
some
saw us
part
on
of
the
Larry.
podcast.
Although that is a special gift.
It might be.
There's hair cuttings.
It might- He turns them into little poodles.
All right, Rob.
All right, thank you
Check
very
us
much
out.
for watching Guys, Games, and Beer. Big shout out to all you guys watching in the
Chat
in Ether
rooms.
right now and
Holy crap,
in the
yeah, they
Peanut
are.
Gallery. You can check us out at www.guysgamesandbeer.net. If you want more current news, it's www.facebook.com/guysgamesandbeer, where we give away free games every once in a while, and we talk about all sorts of crazy crap and post memes and do stupid
Facebook stuff
And there's occasionally pictures of Larry's hairy ass.
and cats.
And there is a lot of pictures of cats.
Just
And
saying.
there's a lot of,
There
if
are,
you like
there
cats.
There are.
Finally, on
That's
on
right now.
Twitter, at Guys Games Beer, note that there's no and Tom likes to give away free games on there too, and occasionally you'll catch some banter going on there
Dang
between
straight.
us and the devs. Again, thank you very much for watching. We will see you next Tuesday at 6:15 p.m. sharp.
Ish. Sharp.
It's pretty close to that.
But
Bye. I'm out of here.
Bye.
Darn it. Where's the pre-show? Where is it? Where is it? There it is.
roll that bitch.
Transition.
That's
Oh God. Okay, that's fucking amazing. Where
That's
did you?
metal.
Oh, I gotta pee.
That
That'd be
is
so
metal.
bad.
Jesus. Where
Wow.
did you see that?
Yes, that was at this bar here. These were their beers.